In the theatre of monarchy, words are often the least powerful weapon. Silence, symbols, and carefully chosen appearances can eclipse any speech. And no one understands this better than Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Increasingly, she has emerged not just as a consort-in-waiting, but as the monarchy's most effective diplomat, a woman who wields her wardrobe and body language as tools of statecraft, navigating the treacherous currents of global politics with elegance and precision. Every appearance is choreographed. Every gesture, every fabric, every jewel carries meaning. This is the burden and brilliance of being a queen in waiting. Nothing is accidental, and nothing is merely fashion. Her role is not to legislate, or to speak policy. It is to embody continuity, to reassure, to charm, and to represent Britain in a world where the monarchy has no vote, but infinite visibility. The Trump state visit proved this truth more vividly than any other moment. The stakes could not have been higher, the world watching, critics circling, the crown tasked with extending courtesy while avoiding controversy. In this delicate arena, Catherine did more than smile for cameras. She delivered an image of poise, of stability, of monarchy standing tall above politics. And she did it with tools that no prime minister could command: subtle gestures, gracious glances, and an outfit chosen as deliberately as any diplomatic communique. Her gown, her jewels, the way she carried herself across Windsor's stone courtyards, all became statements. This was not a princess shaking hands. This was the monarchy reminding the world that continuity is its greatest currency. And in the photographs that flashed across front pages from London to New York, Catherine's image was the message. Royal watchers understand this silent diplomacy. Jenny Bond, a seasoned commentator, once observed that if you cannot say it, perhaps you can wear it. Within the monarchy, neutrality is law. They cannot comment on policy, cannot weigh in on elections, cannot choose sides. Yet they must still represent. Fashion becomes the loophole. A brooch can acknowledge a nation's grief. A color can signal solidarity. A designer can show respect for a host country. It is a lexicon as old as the monarchy itself, but Catherine has elevated it into an art form. Elizabeth II mastered it in her time: bright coats that ensured visibility, brooches that whispered subtle nods to history. On her tours, she often matched the colors of the host nation's flag, a gesture instantly understood by crowds without a word spoken. When meeting the Irish president, she wore green; when in Canada, a maple leaf brooch. These were not coincidences. They were part of a silent dialogue that built trust. Catherine has inherited this strategy, but adapted it for a modern age of global media and social scrutiny. Where once a photograph might circulate in newspapers for a day, now a single image ricochets through millions of screens in seconds. She knows that an outfit at 8 p.m. in Windsor will be dissected in Sydney by dawn and debated in Washington by breakfast. Observers like Amanda Wakeley have noted her thoughtfulness, that every sartorial choice is layered with intent. Nothing is impulsive. Whether it is championing a British designer to signal national pride, or choosing a shade that echoes the flag of a host country, each decision becomes part of diplomacy. Even the silhouette matters: modesty when respect is needed, boldness when reassurance is required. She is not dressing herself, she is dressing the crown, embodying the institution in fabric. This is why commentators, such as Tessa Dunlop, describe her as the royal family's secret weapon. The so-called Kate effect is not only about dresses selling out hours after she wears them. It is about resonance. About the ability to connect with ordinary people while simultaneously impressing heads of state. It is about being approachable without losing majesty, human without sacrificing mystique. Few royals in history have managed that balance so seamlessly. The Trump visit became a proving ground. Catherine's task was not just to host, but to soothe. To project that Britain remained a steady ally, regardless of political tempests. She achieved it not with words, which might have been dissected for hints of judgment, but with presence. She stood where history demanded, smiled where diplomacy required, and wore the message Britain needed the world to hear: calm, strength, continuity. But this was only one chapter in a larger story. Catherine's mastery of silent diplomacy has been visible across years of engagements. When the Obamas visited Buckingham Palace, her elegant but understated wardrobe conveyed welcome without overshadowing the Queen. During Biden's attendance at the G7 reception, her choice of clean, tailored lines in soft colors projected modernity and stability. At the Platinum Jubilee, her striking red coat dress was widely read as a nod to unity and resilience in a nation facing transition. Even at solemn occasions, her careful choices resonated. A black veil at the Queen's funeral, paired with pearls, a gemstone forever associated with mourning in the Windsor tradition, communicated grief more eloquently than any speech could. This careful curation is no accident. It is training. Every banquet, every handshake, every photograph is rehearsal for queenship. Catherine is not only preparing to stand beside William when he becomes king. She is already carrying part of that role, representing the monarchy abroad, reassuring the public at home, and demonstrating that the crown can still adapt to the demands of a 21st century audience without breaking the traditions that anchor it. Her inheritance from Elizabeth II is obvious, but there is also a shadow of Diana in her approach. Diana understood the power of clothing better than anyone. The revenge dress, the choice of sapphires on her trips abroad, the unforgettable tiaras, they were acts of communication. Catherine has borrowed this instinct, but tempered it with discipline. Where Diana sometimes used fashion to rebel, Catherine uses it to stabilize. She is not rewriting the monarchy's script, but ensuring it can still be read by a global audience. And the public notices. When she chooses gold, it reads as triumph. When she wears Diana's tiara, it reads as continuity. When she selects a British brand, it reads as national pride. The power is not in the fabric, but in the meaning attached to it, meaning that Catherine understands better than anyone. This is why commentators describe her not simply as a fashion icon, but as Britain's quiet diplomat. Diplomacy is often a battlefield of words, but the monarchy cannot fight with speeches. Instead, Catherine has mastered the art of fighting with images. In the silence of protocol, she has found a voice louder than politics. And in doing so, she has redefined what it means to be a modern royal diplomat. And this diplomacy matters more now than ever. Britain after Brexit, Britain navigating global uncertainty, Britain facing questions about its very monarchy, it needs symbols of reassurance. Catherine provides them. In a world skeptical of crowns and scepters, she delivers relevance through charm, through poise, through images that travel faster than any treaty. She is Britain's living emblem of continuity, a walking communique that reassures allies and calms critics. History will judge monarchs not just by their policies, but by their images. Think of Elizabeth II with Churchill, with Kennedy, with Reagan. Think of Diana with AIDS patients, shaking hands without gloves when fear still surrounded the disease. These were moments of visual diplomacy that outlived words. Catherine is writing her own chapter in this tradition, with every carefully chosen gown, with every silent gesture of respect. The lesson is clear. Catherine is no longer just preparing for her future role. She is already living it. Her quiet strength, her graceful symbolism, her ability to turn an outfit into a message, all make her indispensable to the crown today. The monarchy's survival in the modern world depends on relevance. And relevance, in an age of images, is precisely what Catherine delivers. Windsor, Buckingham, foreign tours, wherever she appears, the message is consistent. Britain endures. The monarchy adapts. The crown still knows how to charm. And the Princess of Wales is its golden emissary.